Now, to help us focus on how to best invest for our retirement and achieve the life we want, Senior Wealth Advisor Leslie McCormick of the Farwell Group, author of Bank on Yourself, Why Every Woman Should Plan to Be Financially Single Even If She's Not, joins us. Good morning, Leslie. Happy Victoria Day weekend.
Thank you. Good morning to you too.
So what do you have for us today?
I'd like to talk about getting everyone on board with a family meeting. Very rarely is money talked about. It can be a bit of a taboo subject and it can make people uncomfortable. And yet, when we don't talk about it, we do ourselves and our loved ones a real disservice. And the results of not talking about it typically end up being exactly what we didn't want to have happen in the first place. One of the biggest regrets I hear about how families are torn apart and relationships fractured by money and decisions that are made later on in life by parents or for parents during their retirement years. Whether that's making a decision to help an adult child at a point in their life when they need it, but other siblings may not need help and can have resentment that builds. And it can be decisions around selling the family home or cottage, health-related care, and a big one is in administering an eventual estate. From my perspective, and in my own opinion, torn and fractured relationships because of money is an awful result that is to be avoided wherever possible. And so how do we minimize the risk of this terrible outcome? How do we, as best we can, avoid having money destroy relationships? And how do we avoid having siblings argue or avoid a beneficiary engaging in reckless spending or irresponsible behavior? An effective way to avoid these problems is to talk about it before decisions need to be made or before passing away and your finances become part of your estate. One of the most valuable yet underutilized tools available is a family meeting. What holds most people back from doing this is the fear of conflict, fear of what might happen if we talk about these issues. So we set ourselves up for a difficult conversation. But rather, we need to be setting ourselves up for success. And that means planning for the meeting. One of the most valuable questions to spend time thinking about before a family meeting is, what difference will it make if we get this right? Or what difference will it make if we get this wrong? There are many different objectives. What difference will it make if we get this right can be things like family harmony, being well cared for as we age, protecting an individual, or leaving a legacy of lasting multi-generational wealth. Whatever it is, what is the ideal outcome you are looking for from the meeting? Then, in the meeting, share that. Share your ideal outcome. And in the meeting, attempt to make that your common family why. Talk about your values. Talk about what you want to provide for, how you envision your future, and for generally how things eventually will be distributed. You don't have to include numbers, but you can convey your thinking. We've seen this be a real benefit for families when they've used family meetings. Some families do it themselves. Others, we or another professional is there to facilitate the conversation. Done right, rather than causing stress, a family meeting can actually pull families together. But it starts with one question. What difference will it make if we get this right?
Well, I'm just listening to you and thinking, the time is ticking on, and a lot of us don't even want to talk about the end of life. So we run away from it and we're ostriches and we put our heads in the ground. And basically, what you're saying might make it a little easier, because if everyone gets together and says what's important to them, sometimes it'll surprise them in a pleasant way and things can be looked after. So If someone wants to talk to you about organizing their future and find out what difference it would make to their estate and to their family, how do we reach you?
You can reach us at 416-863-7501. And Marilyn, I'd just like to say, estate planning, it's also about your life. It's not just about what you leave behind financially. It's also about your life and living life today.
And there's no better time to live and to do than today. So if your family hasn't talked about the future, about money matters, and they're using avoidance therapy as opposed to being proactive, then don't fear the conflict. Ask the question, what difference will it make? And then perhaps you might be surprised with pleasant answers. And if you want help with this, feel free to call Leslie McCormick and the Farwell Group. The phone number 416-863-7501. Leslie, thank you. Before I let you go, I want to let you know I'm almost out of your book, Bank on Yourself, Why Every Woman Should Plan Financially to Be Single, Even If She's Not.
Thank you, Marilyn. We'll be sure to get you more.
Okay, and if anyone's interested in ordering a copy, you can get a signed copy by calling me at 416-504-6777. And when it comes to learning about your future and your estate, then ask the question, what difference does it make? And get the help of the Farwell Group, 416-863-7501. Bye, Leslie. Speak to you in a couple of weeks, and thanks again.
Thank you, Marilyn.